Welcome to Mr. Torah. This shir is entitled Modern Orthodoxy from a Teenager's Perspective. A few weeks back, a young man, Eitan Gross, in the States, wrote an article very critical of modern Orthodoxy. My goal here is not to criticize modern Orthodoxy. I think the ideas here really should be applied to anyone, anywhere in the world, where he is Orthodox, Shomer Torah Mitzvot, and is weighing the balance of modernity, the modern world, and Torah. So it really doesn't matter if a person subscribes to modern Orthodoxy, Dati Lumi, Haredi, Sephardic, doesn't make a difference. The question really has to be raised and dealt with for anyone in any world that he's in. And the modern Orthodox world in America has to, of course, deal with this article. That's not the purpose of this year. So Eitan writes the following. He says, I've been able to follow sports. Growing up as a modern Orthodox kid was a lot of fun. Follow sports, watch movies, learn secular studies like any American kid. Been able to learn what it means to be a Jew, study Torah, go through life struggles. And he says, we are proactively exposed to media and entertainment that's anti-religious and contrary to halacha. Exposed to all the movies where very often a woman is certainly not covered according to halacha. The ideas and the themes are not very much in line with the ideas and values of Torah. And he says, is it realistic to assume a teenager's value system will not be corroded by the endless subtle and not so subtle attacks on Torah true values? Modern Orthodoxy teenagers, as I said, forget about modern Orthodoxy, says teenagers, his friends, can tell you who Kobe is, Kobe Bryant, one of the top ball players in the States. Jay-Z and another entertainer, tell you about Shakespeare. But very few will know Rav Chaim Kanievsky, Rav Herschel Schachter. We know the history of America, but we don't know too much about the history of the Jews. And he goes on and on. And these are questions that every one of us has to ask. How much are we exposing ourselves, our children, our families, to the modern culture in a responsible and proper manner? Many of us grew up 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We're open to the modern culture. And it was very, very different then. But you're just sort of in it, and you sometimes don't realize how things have changed so dramatically. And it could be 50 years ago, watching TV meant the honeymooners. Well, I'm not telling you everything was based on Torah values, certainly not. But the tznius level, the modesty in terms of how they were dressed, what they talk about, as opposed to today. Twilight Zone with some chachman, wisdom in the show as well. And if it was sanua, modest. But if a person just grew up 50, 60, 70, just continue thinking that, yeah, we can expose ourselves. Everyone has handheld phones. Everything is there. And it's all good. My children can make proper choices and they can screen things and filter things properly. I think there might be some naivete over here to think that the average 16, 17, 8-year-old is just going to filter out everything that is improper. They can decide what's improper, and they'll filter it out. So the specific group that one orients himself or herself to is not what's crucial now. What's crucial is that we should be thinking, discussing with each other, with our families, with our rabbis, what really is the proper exposure to have to the society, to modernity, to the culture today. And do I need to take a step back and reevaluate my exposure to the society, to the culture, and recalculate and say, maybe this was acceptable years ago, but now not anymore. Or this new form of media, the handheld form, this, that, maybe I do need to have a filter. And to really think it through properly. Where our goals, of course, are spiritual development, closeness to Hashem, ruchnius. So we always have to make sure we have our fingers on the pulse. Is that exposure helping out our ruchnius, our spirituality, or chas v'shalom, is it bringing us down? May Hashem give us yata d'shmaya to make proper educational decisions for ourselves, for our family. Shalom.